Hi friends, this is Caitlin. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I'm going to be playing with the Waffle Flower Postage Collage dies. Because I saw that they came out with the new Halloween accessories and sentiments to go with them, and I just fell in love. So I have used this a couple times before, but I know it's been very, very popular in our stamping community, our card making community. And then when I saw the Sweet Ghost dies, that's what really sealed the deal that I had to get all of this stuff. Halloween is the one time of year that I don't generally feel too bad about treating myself to new product. So the cool thing about that ghost is that it cuts out his hands, his little arms, so he can hold something. So we're going to use the little square single stamp as well as the collage, and he's going to hold it. So for the paper, I pulled a couple sheets from this little pattern paper pack that they had, and I am trimming the cream one down. That's going to be our inner top layer. So that's trimmed down to 5 by 3 3/4. And then the kind of tone on tone black checker or plaid or whatever it is, that is a regular standard A2 5.5 by 4 1/4. I'm cutting the collage and my ghost and extra stamp all from Copic Express It paper, because we're going to use, oh, actually, you know what? We're not. I'm using Olos today. And because of that, I cut everything out of Pink and Main Ice Rink heavyweight cardstock, because I found that my Olos do not like my Copic paper. They want a less kind of silky and denser paper. So that is what I used. And I'm going to go in, and I was going to ink blend these, but I decided that I did want to color them instead to get kind of an ombre blend and not have to worry about masking. So I guess it's more of a vignette is what I mean, where the center of all of my little stamps is going to be lighter than the edges. So I'm using the same orange for that square stamp that I am for this rectangle. And in the past, when I've used this set, I left it as a whole sheet of stamps. But the more I've seen other people use it as separate, actual individual stamps, the more I like that style. So I thought I would try my hand at that. So we're coloring them all as if it's one sheet for now, but we are going to end up cutting these apart in a little bit. And with the Olos, I found that I need to kind of sweep in my color a couple times to get the layer. And I think that's part of why the other paper is better, because it takes more ink to kind of saturate this paper. So I wanted to have an orange, some orange stamps, black stamps, and then cream. So for the black, I'm going in with my CGs, my cool grays. And something that I've noticed that I don't know how I feel about yet is that the lighter colors of this CG family are very purple. And it's nice because at least it's different, right? Some of my Copic families and Olo families feel like they really overlap, but these are very different. I don't have any markers that are like this. Maybe BVs would be my closest. So when I did that center, it was just way too light and way too purple for what I was looking for. So I ended up coming back in with way more of the darker shades, which is fine, because in this exact moment, I realized that I was going to white heat emboss on that stamp once it was dry. So it made sense actually for it to be darker. I went in with those lighter cool gray markers for the ghost though, and I think the very light ones are actually really nice for this. So if you're going for shading white, I think the little bit of a cool purpley undertone is perfect. I just don't know how I feel about using it in a black combination. So I added shadows to the little outside, a little heavier on the left than the right, and then kind of emphasizing the little pleats and ripples in his sheet, because he's a little sheet ghost. And then I saved all of his little cheeks and eyes and mouth that were still in the die. And to keep them in place while I colored, I just put them on the back of a full stick Post-it note. So for his eyes, I'm going to go in with that CG9 and CG7. His mouth is just a solid, I believe, CG9. And then he's going to have little tiny pink cheeks because they're cute. And to put those in place, I'm just going to put a piece of washi tape on the back of him. And that way I can just pop these right in like a little puzzle. This is just so cute. These could totally, this ghost die set could totally stand on its own. There's enough little characters and elements in there to make many projects with just that set. And I do want to use this set at least one more time for a video before Halloween. So we'll see what I manage. This tan cream, that's what I want. This cream stamp that I'm working on, I loved, but then you're going to see in a minute when I go to cut these out, I literally chopped it in half, which was not my intent, but I still managed to use it. And then you can see on the left part of my screen, I have the original like Postage, Collage, accessory stamps, but I also have more in the center near my pattern paper, the Halloween Spooktacular one. So I'm kind of mixing and matching those. So I took the 31 cents from the Halloween one and the skull and the, what are those, tombstones from the Halloween Spooktacular one, but like the wavy lines for when the stamp has been used, that came from the original. Right here in this exact moment is when I make the mistake of cutting all the way through. I meant to stop and only cut the black one, or like cut through the first two and then like turn it. That's why I used my wire trimmer, but it's fine because I'm gonna still get to use that bigger section. I did end up coloring in a second one though, just so that I would be able to kind of balance out those colors. You can see I'm kind of practicing and playing around with placement on my card. So I was going to have a cream on the upper right. So I wanted one to kind of coordinate on the lower left. And so that is what I am prepping right now. Let's see. I decided my pattern paper straight onto that black. The dots on the black was just not doing what I wanted it to do. So I ended up, I'm going to go in and matte it. So I trimmed it down a little bit and we're going to add a white matte here in a little bit. For my cream, my upper right cream stamp, I added the boo and then the cute little Halloween mail circle stamp. I love that so much. And I wanted this bottom cream one to be my sentiment stamp. So this is going to get a long sentiment across, but it was a little too long. So I actually cut the boo off of it. If I ever need it to be one single sentiment again, it's super easy just to line them up and pick them up with your, on your block or on your Misty door. But this allowed me to do the You're My Favorite in my black ink, and then I stamped the boo in my orange twist, Catherine Pooler. And all of the orange, or sorry, it's not all of. I also added the orange ink for that 31 cents on that one, so it would stand out a little bit. I just thought it was so cute to have the sentiment kind of like tucked in. I'm going in with embossing ink, and I prepped my little stamp there once I felt confident that it was dry with some anti-static powder tool, and I just hand stamped this little spider web that was in that kind of expansion pack all over. And I really love how that turned out once it was all melted and ready to go. So this is that tiny white little matte frame around my colored my polka dot cardstock. I think that it really helps it to kind of pop up against that black. I don't know why. It was just too much pattern, I think, in my mind. And even that tiny little strip of white all around just helped it to kind of make sense in my mind. So I'm going to be adding some foam tape to that spider web stamp. I left the backing paper on it for now so that I can get the cream stamp that's going next to it in place first with liquid glue. and then I removed the backing tape, and now I can get that popped up. Then I'm kind of just holding the ghost there as a placeholder. And I wanted to make sure that you were going to be able to see the sentiment on that bigger stamp. So everything else is going to get placed kind of with that in mind. So everything else is just hanging out there on the paper. I'm gluing down my orange stamp with liquid glue. The sentiment's also going to be stamped with or adhered with liquid glue. And then the little tiny square skull stamp that he's holding is also going down with liquid glue, but my ghost is going to get popped up with some foam tape, and this is a little thicker than the tiny squares that I used for the spider web stamp. So we are still going to have a little bit of variation in our dimension, but once I added him on, he was just too stinking cute. I did decide that it was a little still plain for me and my preferences. You could definitely stop here, but I really wanted to add some sparkle. So I grabbed these teeny tiny little tangerine sequins that I am in love with, as well as these black confetti sequins. And we're just going to kind of sprinkle some of the black and some of the orange kind of all around the stamps. I just love how they kind of play up that little polka dot background. And I like the variation of sizes that kind of brings. I just thought it tied in all the colors really well together too. So that is going to wrap up. Oh, I forgot. I also added 2 of the little orange ones to the skull's eyes because they were the perfect size and it felt like fate. I guess I also added some little white dots to my ghost's eyes. And there we go. That wraps up this card. So I hope that you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. I'll be back soon with even more Halloween cards. And until next time, guys, I'll see you soon and happy crafting.